The video for May 16th, 2017 is entitled, Information Overload, Nothing Happens. I was in meditation for about an hour this morning before I came out to the computer. As always, I was expecting guidance for today's video. Nothing jumped out at me. Nothing caught my attention. Then when I came to the computer, there were the same intel reports I get every day. More reports on the currency revaluation that has been imminent for more than a decade or two. I can't help but wonder how much is just wishful thinking. Then there are more reports about Trump stepping down and turning things over to the restored republic. As I see it, we are in a stalemate. While I'd like to experience positive changes, we only hear false promises and witness more disinformation. How is anyone supposed to keep the faith when nothing happens to change the plight of humanity? After I wrote that blurb, I sat here for a good while again, just pondering the whole situation. Some people give me advice to focus on what I want and not what I don't want. And the goal seems to be for many people just to find inner peace within your own being. My whole thing has always been for the greater whole. It's not about me, folks. It's not about me. It's about us. I'm an us-oriented person. I see the collective as needing redemption, as needing to be liberated, as needing to be well-informed, not disinformed, but well-informed. And while, how can I say it? While I do think it's a good thing to try to focus on what you want more than on what you don't want, for me, it becomes more and more difficult to do that because the things that I want the most are not happening, or at least they don't seem to be happening. I'm sure there's all sorts of undercurrents and all sorts of discussions and all sorts of feelings going on. I see people that have given up and are dying because nothing happened. I mean, there's people that are no longer with us, that were part of the changes that were supposed to be positive and bring humanity a new era of freedom and a new era of prosperity. Prosperity not in the sense of great wealth, but in the sense of not being under so much stress all the time. Stress is a killer. We know that. We absolutely know it from a medical point of view. It doesn't help the situation to be stressed out all the time. And yet, many of us feel the stress. Even if we're trying to focus on good things and have a positive mental attitude and not give a whole lot of attention to the things we don't want, but rather focusing on the things that we do want. I mean, these are things that we've heard over and over and over again. But for me, I want real change. I want a significant shift in human consciousness that elevates us to a plateau of abundance, but mostly of peace. And how can you have peace when the people that run the world find that the most profitable venture is and has always been war, and they've taken war to extremes in driving people out of Muslim countries into non-Muslim countries where the Muslims seem to be taking over. One report that I saw just this morning, again, was that in one of the intel reports? I can't remember. But France is becoming a Muslim nation, according to one person's or one group's predictions or observation. There's so many things going on in the world, and yet nothing happens to bring the promises that we've been told, those of us that have been spiritually inclined. There's no fulfillment of the promises that humanity is going to be uplifted, that we're going to be in a new age of spirit, a new age of awakening, a golden age. Where is this golden age? It's never going to happen, folks, as long as you have charlatans like the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and others of the so-called elite establishment running the show. They do not have high ideals. We talked yesterday about, in one of the first group, I went to 3 different meetings yesterday, and the first meeting, there was a discussion about Peru and the indigenous peoples in Latin America, or specifically South America. And some of those indigenous people, their whole concept of reality is different than the Western concept, which has been imposed on so much of the world. And even the natives are being brainwashed to think that it's about what clothes we wear and about money and about things that don't matter. And so much we've been diverted from things that make a real difference and make an impact on our overall human experience. We've been diverted into things that are ultimately meaningless and part of the control grid. This is what I'm observing and witnessing. And can we get back to basics? Can we get back to what's really important? It's not money, folks. Even if the currency revalues, and some of us idealists are given a significant amount of money by which we can accomplish certain tasks. Even with that, it's short-lived, because the thing is, we have to learn to love ourselves and to love our neighbor as ourselves. We've got to learn the golden rule and implement it, not just hear it, but actually implement it and put it into practice. But that's not what's been happening. And for me, it's very frustrating. I don't think I'm the only one that gets frustrated by these things. I don't think I'm the only one that tries to look at the bigger picture rather than just my individual picture. Individually, I could be very comfortable right now. I have a roof over my head. I have my own place. Nobody bothers me here where I'm living. There are some doors opening up for me to give talks, possibly even in this building, among the community here. I got requests in, and I've had some brief preliminary discussion with the people that make that decision, and it looks like I'm going to be given a green light to have discussion groups here. And of course, I'm going to be speaking at a few other places in the near future, which I think is a good thing. Yet, the changes that I've really wanted to see and wanted for humanity, those changes still seem to be, everything seems to be dragging its feet, and no one seems to be getting anything done. We have a lot of information, and yet nothing really changes. Everything remains the same. We are what we are till the day that we die. Well, I don't want to die. I want to live. I want to live and see the positive results of the promises that we've known all of our lives. Thank you for listening. Namaste.